everybody. Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 4, otherwise known as Episode 563. Quite a pickle, aren't we?
Yep, we have a lot of stuff to talk about today, a lot of stuff about pickles, so that's why we went with the episode. But one of the things I would like to call back to is there used to be a website. I'm looking this thing up. I was trying to see if it was still around, and apparently it got shut down in 2015. That's how long this podcast has been running. We've been running since 2006, which is 4 years before you were born.
Did you really have to think about that?
Yes. All right. So, yeah, there used to be a website called Podcast Pickle, and I was going to use one of their graphics because there used to be a graphic you could share to like, hey, subscribe to me on Podcast Pickle. But they are no longer around, and it's hard to find any of the graphics. All right, so we're going to move right along. We have a wonderful show lined up for you today. We're going to touch on a lot of Linux stuff, some Lego things, a new mutant team from Marvel, and you can stay with Pikachu. So you ready to dive on into the Geekcraft section, Amber?
I guess so.
Okay. What'd you do geeky this week?
So I've been playing Splatoon 2, and that's kind of one of the older ones. Also, crocheting a lot.
Okay.
I've just been really busy.
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, my geeky this week has been a little bit of self-chemistry. I've been working on different medications trying to get rid of my migraines, and it's not exactly going well right now. I really wish there was like a manual for my own body, but it doesn't happen. All right, we're going to dive right on into the Geekcraft section here at the CaffiNation podcast. But before we do that, I just want to let you know if you are looking for this episode or any of its episodic brethren, you can find them lovingly nestled over at www.CaffiNation.com. If you are looking to send comments, feedback, suggestions, you can do so at CaffiNation@gmail.com. It can get to either one of us. And last but most certainly not least, if you're looking for us on the socials, it's either CaffiNation or The CaffiNation. You could try searching for both. I wasn't quick enough to get it everywhere.
Yeah. Recently I've been looking at it on other places. You can actually find it on Spotify, I think Apple Music. Not music, podcast.
Yes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube.
Yeah.
So maybe down the road we will do short videos, but we can look at doing that later on. But the biggest geeky thing to happen, and the funny thing is, it started after we recorded the last episode and came back around and finished before we got this new one running. The Artemis II mission, the one where NASA astronauts went on a 10-day journey to go around the moon, and they actually shared a photo of the far side of the moon. I mistakenly keep calling it the dark side, but that led to all kinds of wonderful things where people saying, or if the astronauts are going to be on the dark side, how can they take pictures of anything? It's because the sun's on that side sometimes too. It's just the moon never rotates. You know that, right?
Yep.
So, okay. So, yeah, the moon never rotates. They took pictures of the far side. They did all kinds of cool stuff. But unfortunately, there were a few hiccups on the actual mission. So, one of the hiccups they had, everybody who works in an office setting who uses Microsoft Outlook has known this pain. The message that came back from the Artemis II was, I have 2 Microsoft Outlooks and neither are working. That was and they had to actually log in remotely and troubleshoot it. I don't know why you need Microsoft Outlook to run on a space capsule, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would.
All right, moving right along to the next thing we have here today. This one's a little bit hard, and I actually had to explain it to Amber, but there's a website that was recently brought to its knees by a Friends GIF. This website, due to some of the security constraints that were on it, whenever something in a private message was used, a GIF reaction, it would copy that GIF multiple times in the backup. And because the code was inefficient, it kept going. So, how many times did it copy, Amber?
I have no clue. I can't see it. Oh, it copied 200 246,173 times. And no, it is not Monica with the chicken on her head. Sorry, turkey.
Okay. Yeah, so somehow this little 1.6 megabyte Friends GIF was launched onto this server and took up 377 gigs of data due to their security policy. And because they had that image, or because they had that issue and it copied so many times, there's actually a limit on the file system for Linux, xt4, and I found this out because my website, the CaffiNation, used to back up everything and used to go through all the different tags and everything else that was on the website, and we hit this limit. There is a limit for the number of files on a disk. It is 65,000. This GIF copied itself 246 plus thousand times, and it crippled the server. You couldn't do anything. You can't even log in to delete them because you need room on the server to log in. So it creates little files when you log in, and it couldn't do that. So it was a bit wild.
And we have yet to actually find the GIF that it is. But we do know that it is the character Rachel in it.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of the stories we've found have actually shared the GIF in question. They've just said it's Rachel's happy dance, and I found multiple. Well, we both looked before the show, right?
Yeah, it was her with Phoebe, her by herself, her with, I think it was Monica, and then it was Ross too.
Yeah. So I mean, it's all kinds of wild, but we couldn't find the GIF, the offending GIF. I just thought it was funny. All right, moving right along to the next thing we have here. This is talking about the internet as a public good. Believe it or not, in South Korea, the internet service providers have actually gotten together, or at least one of them did, and is releasing free internet for everybody. Would you like free internet, Amber?
Yes, I would.
See, it's not really fast, but they're saying it should be basically kind of like normal telephone service. You should be able to send messages and do things like that. So it's all well and good, but it's only 400 megabits per second. To give you a example of what that is compared to what we usually use, we're usually up in the gigabit area. So that you can pay for faster service, but everybody gets the same thing for free, which is really cool.
I mean, you also just wouldn't want to have to pay, like going into a different place, having to pay for different Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So you can, like I said, you can pay for faster service, but at this point, everybody gets that free internet, which is really cool. All right, moving right along. The next thing, due to a lot of geopolitical things in the world around us, there is a move to reduce foreign dependencies. So different countries would like to own or at least control a lot of the software that runs the country itself. So the US is using US-made stuff, and other companies are trying to get rid of US stuff like Microsoft Windows. So France is actually, they've pushed it through. They are going to be eliminating Windows and moving everybody in the French government over to Linux. I think this is really cool. If you've ever used a Mac, you've used a version of Linux. So Linux can be really clean. It can be really easy to use. The only problem is there's not a lot of support in terms of programs. But if you're talking about Office programs, there's OpenOffice, there's LibreOffice, there's like all these other things that work with Microsoft files that you don't have to worry about. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then in the same vein, when to own your mistakes. Linux, big Linux, capital L, is reviewing how people can submit code. Because Linux is open source, anybody theoretically could code something or fix something that's in the operating system and share it back to the main branch. Isn't that pretty cool?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like if you really wanted to get like a website up, you could totally make one and send it to them. They could get started up.
not quite. Like they're talking about the actual software that runs it. So you open your computer. So if you notice, like, let's just say you open up an application to listen to music on this computer, and the application doesn't work the way you expect it to. If you are a programmer and it's open source, you can jump into the code and actually make changes and share them back, and then they review whether or not those changes are good. And then they can either accept or deny them. It's this whole big system. It's pretty cool. But what they've started to notice is over the past year, there is a massive amount of AI-generated code. People with no coding experience whatsoever log in and say, code me something to do X, Y, and Z. And it puts out this AI slop, which is not always the best and not always the most well-maintained. And they've had massive problems in Linux trying to remove AI code. So they finally came up after they were talking about it with a new system. Basically, if you used AI to generate your code, it is no longer allowed in the Linux repository, which is great. If you use Copilot or something that works in the file editor itself to help you complete sentences and do stuff like that just helps you code, that's one thing, because you still have to be able to know how to code. So thought it was pretty cool. Now the next thing is something near and dear to my heart. Amber has never seen He-Man, and I loved He-Man. If you remember, I have the figure on my desk that looks like
the skunk.
The skunk
it smells so bad.
So his name, he was a character on the He-Man show in the 80s. His name was Stinkor, and he actually had scent inside of him. Like the plastic on the top of his head is scented. And it is 30 plus years later, or actually maybe even closer to 40, and he still smells. It's weird.
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense why his name is Stink.
Yeah,
he stinks really bad.
And I had a whole bunch of He-Man toys. That's the only one I know where it is, and it's just hilarious that it still smells. But Mattel, in honor of both the 40th anniversary of He-Man and the new movie coming out, He-Man and Masters of the Universe, they have erected a 19-foot tall statue of He-Man with his sword raised aloft so that he can go, I have the power, and lightning can hit the sword and it'll be just like the cartoon. I think this is cool. I got goosebumps just thinking about it, and I had to share it with everybody. I think that's neat. What do you think, Amber?
I think it's pretty cool, even though it kind of seems weird that they're doing another thing with He-Man.
Well, the first movie was a little bit weird, actually a lot of it weird, and it had Dolph Lundgren.
Good.
It's not good, but it's not like horrid. It's so bad it's good. So that's where that is. What do we have up next, Amber?
We have the Legos for One Piece for season 2. And so far they have Dr. I'm going to say her name wrong, but Hirlook.
That's him. Hirlook is the guy.
Okay. Dr. Hirlook's hideout. They have the... Sorry, give me a sec. They have the Shadow Down with Captain Smoker. Pretty cool. They have Tony Chopper, which I really want. And Dory and Broggy, Giants of Little Garden. That one's also really cool because they're both like really giant in a tiny part. I literally just got past that a little bit ago. So
Amber and I made a deal that as soon as Chopper was introduced to the show, what did I do?
He would get me a Funko Pop, and I binge watched until I could get there, and it was at episode 91. Currently at episode 100 and something, which is pretty good for me.
Yeah. So Chopper is an adorable little reindeer who ate the human fruit, and he has a really cool Lego thing there. Is there anything else that you liked that they were sharing, or is that pretty much it?
The Marine battleship is also really cool, but I feel like it would frustrate me so much to build.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the look of the sailing ship Legos, but Paul built the Going Merry from the first season. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Moving right along, what's the next thing we got going, Amber?
We have retiring Legos. And so I actually had to find a different one. And I was getting really mad about some of the Legos that were retiring. So, as any normal human would do, they looked at every single Lego and was getting even more mad as I scrolled along.
She was really getting increasingly more perturbed the longer she read this list. So, just a couple highlights. What are some of the big ones, other than Optimus Prime, which I'm personally devastated that he is going away?
So I'm a huge Harry Potter lover, and they are getting rid of Gringotts Wizarding Bank Collector's Edition. And, sorry, I'm going to have to scroll down a little. Beauty and the Beast Castle. A lot of spaceships are also going off, too. I know some
Spaceship!
people like that. But yeah, I'm really mad about some of the Harry Potter ones.
Yeah, also one that I'm really happy I got in under the wire is the flying machine from Leonardo da Vinci. I got that for Christmas, built it, wonderful build. It's being discontinued.
Yeah.
So that...
Oh, also I found out that the sorting hat that I have that talks is also being discontinued.
Oh,
and I got that a few years ago.
That's really cool. All right, moving right along to the next thing. How many of you have ever entertained even the slightest notion that, you know what, I bet I could climb Everest, even if it's not something that's right there. Like you know that yes, I can climb this mountain. There's no problem. I can do it. Everest is like, I mean, it is what it is. It is one of the hardest mountains in the world to climb. Have you ever thought about that, Amber?
I would never climb that because I would be dumb and hurt myself.
Okay, well, I now found yet another reason why, in addition to the between $30,000 and $60,000 permit just to try, you also have guides that take you up the hill and down the hill. Some of the guides are Sherpas, some of them are other guides. There is a group of mountain guides that have been accused of poisoning people who are in one of the most inhospitable places on the planet. So they can be rescued so they can run an insurance scam. So for the people that you paid to keep you safe are actively poisoning you if you're climbing Mount Everest. Some of them. So, yeah, it's yet another reason why I'm probably not going to climb Everest, Amber.
Why would you in the first place?
All right, moving right along. We know that if you cut your arm off, it does not grow back. Is this true?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, besides lizards.
Besides lizards and amphibians, right?
Yep.
So scientists wanted to investigate why that was.
It's making me think of Spider-Man all over again.
Oh yeah, like there are so many different comic books, sci-fi shows, and other things that explain why this is a bad idea.
Well, yeah.
So we're not talking about splicing amphibian DNA or into thing or something where you get the lizard from Spider-Man or anything like that. But what they've actually done is they've investigated the biological processes that go into regenerating legs, and they found that they do not exist on mammals because it all has to do with the amount of oxygen that the body sends to a wound. So amphibians send a lot more, it's active, and they can regenerate because there's oxygen available. In mammals, what happens is that the scar tissue builds up wherever there was an injury, and that is what gets the primary direction. So they're looking at ways to possibly work on that, but I think they should leave well enough alone. But while we can't yet regenerate whole limbs, there is a treatment that they just announced that an experimental drug can reverse osteoarthritis in weeks, like cure it. It actually regrows cartilage inside your knee, which is wild to think of. So they're looking to end the disease. So as a runner and somebody who has had various knee problems throughout your career of running, if they could give you an injection to grow back things that were broken in your knee, would you do it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd be right there with you. My knees are horrible. I would love the ability to take an injection and just go, boop, it's better.
Yeah, but it would take like 2 weeks, you said.
Okay, 2 weeks versus a lifetime of pain from having...
True, but how do we know there's no pain getting the shot?
That's true. That's true. All right, what do we got next, Amber?
Next we have a new Marvel mutant team, which, before we get into it, X-Men has always been about civil rights and abuses of power, which you can't tell us that the Gen X or the elder millennial didn't name them.
This exact term. Okay, so there is a new group of mutants that are in current storylines, and they are focused heavily on civil rights and people of color, and they use a lot of things from actual lived experience of people of color trying to travel and go around and do things like trail signs, like there were special books, and there was a place that where these people were safe. It was called Haven, and this group is called, you got to say it.
I'm not saying it.
You got to say it.
I'm not saying it. You can say it.
The group is called the Regulators. Mount up. So there has to have been a Gen Xer or a millennial who was in charge of that. I can't wait to see. This is a really fun article. So if you're interested in new stories about new mutants taking on challenges that X-Men has always kind of looked at, this is a really cool thing. So I can't wait to see what happens.
And up next, we have the Pika Pika Hotel. This is in Grand Hyatt, Tokyo. And they decorate their rooms with different themes, I think every summer.
Yes.
And there's a Pikachu room with so many plushies of Pikachu looking at you. I don't think I'd like to sleep there at night.
You don't want to get stared at by 30 Pika Pika?
No. Would you?
I don't know. Pikachu's not my favorite Pokemon. But, yeah, I mean, my favorite's Bulbasaur. But, what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite Pokemon?
I forget the name of it.
That can't be.
It just looks nice, though. That's the only reason I like it.
What does it look like? Let's see if we can figure it out.
It's like that, it's that purple thing that goes like this.
Is it Gengar? Or Haunter?
Haunter.
Okay. Gengar is also high up on my list.
Yeah, I like Haunter. It just looks cool.
Okay. So
or Ditto.
All right. So the cool thing about the Grand Hyatt Tokyo is that they decorate all of their rooms with various Pokemon for the summer to hopefully increase traffic. So we thought that was pretty cool and we wanted to share. All right, next we have the food and caffeinated bits, just in case you are listening and you'd come in halfway through and somebody's listening. First of all, they have good taste. You should thank them very much for it because they have the CaffiNation podcast on their headset. But you can also find us over at www.CaffiNation.com. Moving right along to the food and caffeinated bits section. Who do you want to take the first one, Amber?
I think you can.
Okay. Fire in the hole. Why can't we just call them spicy? So Taco Bell has released a new product called Diablo Dusted Nuggies. Well, they're not called nuggies. I like the word nuggies. I mean, it's descriptive. Everybody knows what you're talking about when you're talking about nuggies, right?
I guess so.
Okay. Well, they're trying to basically, it's spicy chicken nuggets. And we were both talking about this before we started the episode, and neither one of us are thrilled to try this because more often than not, when something says it's spicy, how do you feel about it?
It's never spicy. It's literally just a normal sandwich.
Yeah, like spicy chicken sandwiches that you can get anywhere. I've never had one that's actually spicy, like, you know, make you get that good sweat under your eyes.
I haven't been able to get that.
All right. Yeah, there's a couple different things. The only thing that I found that's even remotely spicy that I would classify as spicy is the Campbell's, like the thick and chunky soups. They actually have spicy versions of them, and some of them are actually spicy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of, I don't know. It just sounds it. I don't know. I've never tried it.
All right, we'll have to try it next week. All right, next up, how about a pickle beer? Does that sound good for you, Amber?
No. Are you kidding me?
So there's a partnership between Pabst Blue Ribbon, PBR, and Grillo's Pickles. So they are releasing a pickle beer, which has pickle juice in the whole thing, and it's kind of interesting. I don't know how well. It's called Grillo's Pickles PBR. I don't know what it tastes like. If I could buy a single can, I might try it. And this would probably be one of the things every time I get my wife to try beer, any beer, doesn't matter the flavor. She hates it, and she says it tastes like beer. That's the only feedback I get.
Yeah.
So this is going to taste like beer and pickles. And if you're just looking for beer and pickles, then you can go to Grillo's Pickles, and you can look at their recipe. I don't know why they call this a recipe, but the recipe for spear in a beer, where you take a pickle and you throw it in a glass of light beer and you drink it.
Oh. Listen, I like some pickle juice, but I don't think that sounds good.
All right. Moving right along. What's next up, Amber?
Flamin' hot dill pickle Cheetos.
I told you we were heavy on the pickles this week. So the people behind Flaming Hot Cheetos are bringing back a flavor that I always thought was way too complicated. Flamin' Hot Dill Pickle Cheetos. There's a lot going on there. It doesn't sound very good, but they've gotten the likes of Megan Thee Stallion and Nickelback to promote the fact that the pickle is back.
Are we sure they tried it?
I don't know. It's interesting. There's a fun article about it in case you're interested in that kind of thing. But, yeah.
Usually it just sounds like a PR stunt.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it is a PR stunt. I can't imagine that actually tastes good.
Yeah, no. Could you imagine having something sort of spicy and then have a pickle tang
with that weird fake cheese flavor? Yeah, okay. So this is something like I've said this on the podcast before. I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't eat certain snacks. I can eat Cheetos, and not a lot of them, but there can't be that much real cheese in there if I can eat them.
Yeah.
So, all right. Now the next thing we have here, Amber was a little disgusted when we were talking about it, but I am enthused. My wife really wants to go. There is a local cafe restaurant called Giovanni's Delicious Pickles. And there they have a whole bunch of sandwiches similar to the Philadelphia hoagie and whatnot. And they use... Go ahead.
That sounds disgusting.
The face she's making right now, I wish we could put it as the start off for this episode. But instead of bread, Giovanni's uses whole dill pickles as the sandwich making structure. So the carb is replaced with pickles. My wife really wants to go there. They're local here, so we're going to give it a shot at some point. Amber is not going to be going with us because
I'm not trying that.
Because she was fine with pickles. She likes pickles on sandwiches and stuff, but that's too much pickle.
That is too much pickle. It's literally just vinegar on a cucumber, but so much vinegar, cucumber,
and salt.
And salt.
That would probably spike your sodium like nobody's business if you're sucking down an entire kosher dill.
I know. That's why I'm saying I'm never trying it.
All right, moving right along. What do we got next?
We got Share a Little Joy Coffee Shop. It's said that they shared a viral recipe for raspberry Danish latte.
Which sounds like an interesting flavor. I'm not a big fan of the lattes. Just in general, I like regular black coffee and espresso. But, and Amber's been using less and less cream in her coffee lately.
Yeah, I have. Because most of it is tasting, like, most of the creamer that I've been having lately, it's been tasting like a weird version of chocolate milk. So I've just stopped. And I've been using, like, tiny splashes of it.
So, yeah, I think you might have what I have, where you can taste things, like, very well. Like, you can pick apart the different notes that things have. And I've been introducing her to better and better coffee as she's gotten older. And one of the things that has always turned me off on flavored coffees or flavored creamers is I can taste the chemicals, and it just seems so fake that I can't enjoy the coffee. So this is all natural stuff. The raspberry Danish latte went viral because they were the person who runs Little Joy Coffee Shop actually did a video series on whether or not you should make certain drinks at home versus buy them in a cafe. And this is one of the ones that they said you should buy in a cafe because it's quite complex, and in order to make it you need things like raspberry syrup that you have to make. So there's a lot going on there. So I understand that. I mean, my wife loves peppermint mochas, and a couple years ago I made peppermint syrup for her, but it didn't turn out quite the same way. So we're okay. But the cool thing about Little Joy is they said nobody should have to drive for more than 45 minutes to get their coffee on. So they released the recipe for everybody but Starbucks, and it has gone viral. There's even a website that I will try and find that is tracking where you can get the viral raspberry Danish latte at cafes all around the country and the world. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I just wouldn't try it. I don't like Danishes or raspberry.
I love raspberries.
And I don't like lattes either.
All right, so it's still cool, though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, next up, we have a new KitchenAid coffee machine. It is a super automatic espresso machine. We have little experience with a super automatic espresso machine. It is upstairs. It is the Philips Seiko Cynthia. It was given to us many years ago, and it is still in perfect working order. There are a couple problems with it, though.
It needs so much water. It also needs to be cleaned very often. And you need to keep refilling the beans every 2 cups of coffee.
So all of those are very realistic things, but if you have it loaded and in the morning, it only takes you like 30 seconds to a minute to actually get a cup of coffee out of this, which is not quite as fast as a Keurig, but it doesn't have the flat taste that Keurigs usually do.
Yeah. I mean, all coffee is kind of good, but I kind of like the coffee machine we have.
All right, what's the next story we got coming up?
It is coffee is still hot after 5 hours later.
Yeah, so there's an interesting article that I read, and it's about somebody who always has a problem that I identify with. I constantly make cups of coffee, bring them downstairs to the office, and then I will try and drink them an hour and a half, 2 hours later, and they are bone cold. So I personally use a Contigo Auto Seal mug because they are great and they're only $20. But there's a new ceramic tumbler, and it probably is a little better than what I got going on. And who makes it?
Owala.
Why are you smiling when you say Owala?
Because I have a Owala water bottle, and I got it because I needed a new water bottle because all of mine were really bad. And I kept getting so many dents in them. And this one's lasted me about 2 years, no dents. And I use it for softball, running, and
this thing goes everywhere. So if that build quality is the same as this ceramic cup, I think it would probably be a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I know some girls, I don't know how they've dented it. Mine's never dented, and mine gets thrown around on accident. My other ones would always dent after like one time of falling, and it was like I didn't even do anything.
Maybe stop dropping it.
But it does keep my water really cold. So that's really good after a run, after a practice, all of that.
Yeah. All right, next one.
Next, we have the I Need Coffee trip, which I believe that's the coffee that we went to, the coffee shop.
Yes, that's the name of the coffee shop we went to.
Yeah. And this one's kind of a little special because the person who owns it, I think, that's the daughter of the old dean of students that I had in grade school.
And the only reason we knew about this coffee shop is because the owner's mother had shared this, and the coffee shop actually sponsored a couple things at your school. So it's been on our list for a while. We just hadn't gotten down the Bridesburg section of Philadelphia to actually enjoy it. So we did, and what is your takeaway from it?
I really liked it. They had really good bakery food.
Oh yeah, that is like perfect. They had really good coffee, but the coffee wasn't the star of the show. The food was the star of the show.
Yes, it was.
And not even that. I had, like, it's very common in this general area to have a pork roll, egg, and cheese. I saw a variation of that where you have kibasi, egg, and cheese. So I was excited because I like kibasi, but then I was even more excited when I found out that it was locally made locally made from a small business in the area, Swacky's. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. There's two main places that people in Philadelphia get their Polish food. We visited Chev's, which does not look like it's spelled, which is in Port Richmond. I don't know where this place is, but I gotta say, their kibasi is really good. It was a really good sandwich.
Yeah, and I had a chocolate chip, not brownie. Whoa! It was a muffin, and it was very delicious. They had, like, those little actual not ice cubes, sugar cubes on the top, and it's so delicious. It's just amazing.
So we would highly recommend you go there. I'm working on an article right now. It'll probably be out within the next week to run down the entire trip and show some pictures from it. But in case you're in Philadelphia and you happen by the Bridesburg section of the city, I would highly suggest going to I Need Coffee.
Especially if you want a treat.
Yeah. All right, that about wraps it up for the food and caffeinated bits section here at the CaffiNation podcast. The only thing left is our final thought. And with the world being as crazy as it is right now, you can consider immigrating to Slowjamistan. It's a micronation, which is actually within the United States, which is a little off, but it is a parcel of desert that a gentleman actually bought and decided to create his own country. It is so you can get citizenship, you can pay to actually be a member of parliament there. It's kind of wild. But the craziest thing that I saw from the entire thing is not only can you get your citizenship for like $20, but you can also buy passports from Slowjamistan. But they all come with these warnings that you should not try and show them to border control agents because they do not have a sense of humor. But there are some people who, it's apocryphal, so there's stories in the world of people presenting their correct passport to the people at the border control, getting let in, and then presenting this after they let them know it's a joke passport and asking them to stamp the joke passport. So some people actually have stamps on their Slowjamistan passport. So I thought that was pretty funny and wanted to share it with the group. All right. I think that about wraps it up here today. I don't think we can do any more damage.
Actually, before we go, I thought about something while we were doing this. Before, in the beginning, we actually asked something I did geeky this week. And today I had a song stuck in my head. It's called Pandemonium from Spelling Bee, the musical. And in class today, I was really bored. And I looked up the meaning of some of the words in there. So now I can use them in essays.
There you go. That's always good.
Yeah. But I think that about wraps it up.
Okay. Where are we found?
We are found at CaffiNation.com. Also on Spotify or
YouTube, Pandora, everywhere you can find and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts as well. So everywhere you can find podcasts, you can find this lovingly crafted nugget.
Yep. Well, stay caffeinated.